On this next slide, we're going to discuss throughout, Diane's childhood, she was told that she was stupid. Um, Lots of verbal and mental abuse at home and at school because of being poor. Grandfather was telling her that she'll never be anything in life, um, verbally and mentally abusing her. In school, she was made fun of and bullied because of the clothes she wore had holes or wasn't in style. Constantly bullied by other girls who made fun of her and would push her in the hallways at school. She went to an all-white school, so she did fit in to that degree. But nonetheless, her classmates were cruel and abusive. Her mamas, her mother would promise her that she would come see her, and she never did, which mentally hurt her even more. She also married and her husband cheated. So, that was something that was just added to the abuse that she has suffered throughout her life. Um, Abuse could have hindered her self image, and it appears to have done that. She stated that she has always felt like she needed to have the best clothes so she was accepted when she grew up, which, that definitely comes from being bullied at school and, being accepted. Um, Diane was missing pieces of the family triangle. Um, a family would be parent, parent, child, and she was missing two of those pieces, the parent and parent. Um, she did not have her mother or her father. She did have a grandmother that stepped in, and tried to become that mother figure. She did not have her father, and her grandfather was an alcoholic and mentally abusive and wasn't really a father figure. Um, when Diane was growing up, the community was less involved than like it is today. There was not really any support for her or her grandmother for the abuse that they both endured, by grandfather, husband, there was not any bully awareness support groups or abandoned children groups like there are today. The community back then minded their own families and did not get involved in other people's business. Diane's school assisted her with education, and it really ended at that. The school did not reach out to help her, um, or ask what she was going through at home or even within the school. Um, she stated that it may have hindered her then, um, but now it made her lean on her own self for support. And she stated that she believes it made her mentally strong to where she would not have to count on anyone but herself to make a life. The theory that I chose was Kohlberg's theory, and I chose good girl, good boy. Um, Diane was verbally and emotionally abused as a child. Kohlberg's theory would have been extremely hard for her. In the stage good girl, good boy, Diane was unable to figure out what behaviors received good attention or bad attention. She stated that one time she could um, go get grandpa a beer out of the refrigerator and he would thank her and, give her a piece of candy. And the next time he would scream at her why she's touching his beer and be sent to her room for it. This would obviously make the stage difficult because she could not determine what she would be, whether or not she would be rewarded or punished. Because one time it might be a reward and next time a punishment. She stated that for a long time that she was unsure what was right and what was wrong and afraid to do anything. Um, Erikson theory limitations. There's some strengths and weaknesses in everything. Diane went through so much in the beginning of her life, and Erikson describes that each stage done unsuccessfully will pour into the next stage. It's right on key for Diane. It all started in the beginning with trust versus mistrust and snowballed from there. It is predictable that a child who does not have parents will go through some type of feelings of abandonment. In Diane's case, the only person that she felt she could ever trust, of course, was Grandma, because everyone else had abandoned her. Um, Diane also suffers from depression to this day. And, I think one of the weaknesses in Erikson theory is that he doesn't cover anything underlying, such as the depression. Um, how can you determine that that didn't have a reason of either passing or failing a certain stage of the psychosocial development? Um, could her not having her mother and father cause her to fail at the stages of the Erikson theory? Or could it be underlying mental health that assisted with the failure, the beginning stages? So those are some questions that I'm wondering myself. And, you know, this was very enjoyable to be able, I feel like my grandmother and I are much closer now that I know some of her past. I'm the only one in the whole entire family that knows that my grandmother was a product of rape. So, it's almost like it was a godsend to do this presentation. So, next I'm just going to go through my references that I used from my bibliography, and that wraps it up for my older person presentation. I hope everyone has a blessed evening and have a very good week.